Hi there, good evening. Welcome to the June I-10 Connect community meeting. I'm Jennifer Wright with the Texas Department of Transportation. Tonight, our very brief presentation includes a project overview, as it usually does, new developments on the project, which includes some permanent closures that are coming up and additional traffic impacts you'll want to be aware of, and changes to pedestrian access at the Bridge of the Americas. So we're going to be, Martin Bartlett of Barracuda PR will take you through this, and then we'll take questions from one of our engineers on the project. We have Rudy Elias of SUNT joining us tonight. Questions can be emailed to info@i10connectelpaso.com. That's i10connectelpaso.com, or called in to 855-463-1010. Again, that's 855-463-1010. So right now I'll let Martin take you through the presentation. Thank you, Martin. And then we'll circle back at the end. Thank you.
Of course, as we always do, we want to begin by just reminding everybody of the team that's making this project come to reality. Of course, this project is a project of the Texas Department of Transportation. As you mentioned, Sun Construction is the general contractor on this project. Consor is providing construction inspection and construction oversight. Kennedy Consulting is the designer of this project, and the company for which I work, Barracuda Public Relations, is working with TxDOT, undertaking the public involvement on the construction phase of this project. A reminder about some of the facts and figures of this project. Of course, a $96 million project. We've been at this for a while now, construction beginning in early 2019, with a total of 3 years allowed for completion of the project. Where we are now, this rendering is one we've seen many times. We're flying high above the Spaghetti Bowl, looking to the south, So Ciudad Juarez and the Bridge of the Americas would be at the top of your screen. Anything you see in blue is a new ramp, or meaning it's new construction or a replacement of an existing ramp. Project, the Connect, making it easier to get between I-10 and Loop 375 at the Spaghetti Bowl, right there at Mid-City. There is really no other freeway connection other than out at Sunland Park or out at I-10 in Americas to get between I-10 and Loop 375. So this project is going to change that and make it a lot easier to connect between those two freeways seamlessly. As traffic ramps up on I-10 or Loop 375, as construction's underway on I-10 or Loop 375, you can hop on over to the other freeway to use it as an alternate route. We're going to fly you through the project right now, including a couple of driver's eye views. What we'll do, we'll begin by just kind of taking an overview of the project, and then we'll move into some, like I said, driver's eye view renderings of the project. All right, we're starting out as we were earlier in the rendering, high above the Spaghetti Bowl there in Central El Paso. Again, everything you see in this rendering is the way the project will be when it is all said and done. And for many months, this was kind of strictly a rendering. But now we're starting to see some of these things shown in the rendering come into reality out there in the field. We'll talk about those in a little more detail here in a moment. But of course, one of the things that we've said about the I-10 Connect project from the beginning is that it's a lot of bridge work. It's a lot about making sure that if you're going from I-10 to Loop 375, you have your own ramps. If you're trying to get to the Bridge of the Americas, you have your own ramps. The value in that is making sure if you're just trying to stay within El Paso, get from I-10 to Loop 375, you're not having to wait with bridge traffic. Now, there are some improvements coming along I-110. We'll talk about those in a little bit. I-110 is that short freeway spur that leads down to the Bridge of the Americas. So, Paisano area, you see some major changes that we'll talk about here in a little bit in greater detail, revolving around temporary pedestrian access and what the eventual project will look like when all is said and done. All right, so now we're going to take kind of a driver's eye view as if we're coming from downtown on I-10, hopping over onto Loop 375 to head out to the lower valley. Of course, if you tried to do that, before this project began, it was nearly impossible. There were left turns and traffic signals, a lot of impediments to an easy transition from I-10 to Loop 375. When this project is complete, as you can see in this rendering, you're trying to make that transition from I-10 to Loop 375. You'll have freeway to freeway access. Making that decision about, am I going to Loop 375 or am I going to the Bridge of the Americas and El Juarez, making that decision back at the Spaghetti Bowl. So that'll be a big change. Project this week. And typically you've been able to bail out in the past before you make it to the Bridge of the Americas. When this project is complete, and as is increasingly the case, you take the Juarez exit, you're heading to Ciudad Juarez. All right, here's another look, another driver's eye view, say coming from Cielo Vista Mall, heading to Bridge of the Americas, heading to Ciudad Juarez. Of course, we'll start out taking that drive over the Spaghetti Bowl. You know, right now, you're able to, or rather, before the project began, when you would take that looping ramp over I-10, there was still kind of a moment to make another decision. Am I going to bail out at Paisano? Am I heading to the bridge? As you'll see here, that ultimate decision point comes at the Spaghetti Bowl. Do I want to go to Juarez or do I want to get to Loop 375? One thing that's very important to recognize as this project, you fly for vehicles which are waiting to cross into Ciudad Juarez, cross across the Bridge of the Americas. Another very important point that is worth recognizing and that will change when this project is complete is none of the vehicles which are heading south on I-110 into Ciudad Juarez will be required to stop at traffic lights. Under the previous configuration, trucks heading to Juarez on I-110 had to stop at traffic lights. That, of course, slowed things down. But when this project is all said and done, all traffic heading to the bridge has to get there on I-110, and none of it has to go through traffic lights in order to get there. All right, so a little bit about what's completed and what's underway. You know, we've been at this, like we said, for more than a year. Let's talk about what's happened out there in the field. removal of those ramps from I-10 to Juarez. Of course, for years and years and years, you would always be able to turn south off of I-10 at US 54 and work your way to the Bridge of the Americas. Those ramps have been removed in order to make those new ramps. We talked a lot about, but when those noodles are on top of each other, sometimes you have to remove the old ones in order to place the new ones. And so what you're seeing right now, all traffic on I-10 bound to Juarez, detouring north on US 54 to Pershing Drive, and then heading south to get to the Bridge of the Americas. A lot of bridge girders and decking work been done over I-10. Of course, a new direct connector ramp flying high about 75, 80 feet over I-10, connecting southbound US 54 to the Bridge of the Americas. Also work underway on that new ramp from eastbound Loop 375, so downtown, coming from downtown on Loop 375 to get you to northbound US 54 and I-10. Another important point of something that has reopened recently, all the ramps from Gateway Boulevard North near the El Paso Zoo to US 54 and I-10 have reopened. That's very important for mobility and connectivity in that part of the city. All right, as Jennifer mentioned earlier, there have been some permanent changes. We're going to talk through all of these in great detail, and we have some images and some videos to kind of explain in greater detail what all of this means and why on earth it's happening. So everything you see in purple on this map was closed permanently to traffic on May 27th. You see a lot of those ramps connecting to what's referred to as the mid-level of the I-110 Paisano Drive interchange. We have a photo in a minute that we'll show you that will kind of help clear it up for you. But if you've ever gone through that intersection and been at one of those traffic lights at I-110 on the way to Juarez, that is going to be the place where you would make a left turn, make a right turn, and continue straight through the intersection. All of those bridges and associated traffic lights have been removed. So you're able to turn right coming out of the bridge, able to turn right near the Chamizal, able to turn right coming south on Copia onto Paisano. All other movements at that intersection, at that mid-level, important, small but important change is a closure of Stevens Street between the Franklin Canal and I-110. You know, for months now, we've been preaching that the best detour route to get to Juarez is to go up US 54, make that Pershing turnaround, and then follow the marked detour. But we know a lot of folks were still using Copia to Rivera to Stevens to get into I-110 to head south into Juarez. As of the 27th, that section of Stevens Street from the canal down to I-110 has been closed and will not reopen. This has been in the plans for this project since the word go, and it has already been implemented. So that detour route, that shortcut route, no longer available. You can still get to the bridge from Paisano. I will tell you, as someone who's traveled in that area recently, the best bet, the shortest ways to get down to the bridge, believe it or not, involve that seems like a long detour up US 54 to Pershing Drive. All right, we're going to take a look at a photo that we took just yesterday to kind of illustrate exactly what we are down below the interchange looking south. You can see the Bridge of the Americas up there in the distance. Right now, we would be standing in what are typically the southbound lanes of I-110 heading to the Bridge of the Americas. There at the top, you see the bridge which carries Paisano Drive east and west over the interchange. What you'll notice is missing are those mid-level bridges. They have been removed as of yesterday. So those ramps that you would use to connect from Paisano Drive to the Bridge of the Americas to I-110 aren't there anymore. Those traffic lights where you make the left turn, they aren't there anymore. Why is all of that necessary? We'll take a look at the next slide that kind of begins to show what's really going on out there. You know, in a perfect world, we would just pick up the Paisano Drive bridge that goes east-west over I-110 and just drop it down a few feet, as you see there in that photo illustration. Unfortunately, we can do that with Photoshop. We can do that on the computer. It's just not that simple in real life. And a complete reconstruction of the intersection to ultimately get us to the point where US 62 Paisano Drive continues traveling east-west over I-110, which goes north-south, but rather than being at a third level above I-110, Paisano Drive will be essentially at ground level. I-110 will continue heading south below ground level. Obviously, that is a very different look than the way we've all encountered the Bridge of the Americas area for years. Motorists, we've been talking about detours quite a lot. There are also some pedestrian impacts as well. And one of the things, if you're in a vehicle and you get into an unsafe position, it's one thing, but as a pedestrian, it's critically important to think about your safety. And crews on the I-10 Connect project have been working hard to make sure that there are safe zones that are clearly marked that explains exactly how to get where you're going if you come north across the Bridge of the Americas or if you're heading south.
Demolition of the middle level of the I-110 Paisano Drive interchange near the Bridge of the Americas is now underway. That means detours are now in place for motorists and pedestrians. The eastbound and westbound mid-level bridges many pedestrians previously used to cross I-110 have been removed. This temporary crosswalk has been put in place immediately north of the Bridge of the Americas. Whether you're coming north into El Paso or going south into Juarez, this is the only place you're allowed to cross I-110. The crosswalk is in place immediately north of the TABC shelter. New striping will help you navigate across traffic as a pedestrian. Enhanced signage will alert motorists of the temporary crossing. Temporary chain link fencing is in place to help separate safe pedestrian zones from work zones. Never go inside work zone fencing and never walk on the shoulder of the road. TxDOT has these pedestrian safety tips no matter where you're walking. If a sidewalk is available, use it. Cross only at crosswalks and make eye contact with a driver before you cross any roadway. For more information on the I-10 Connect project, visit i10connectelpaso.com.
Most important piece of information there is always keep alert as you are traveling through, especially a work zone, whether you are in a vehicle, whether you are on foot. Follow those pedestrian recommendations the TxDOT gave in any case, but especially when you're traveling on foot near a work zone. And when you're down there in the I-10 Connect work zone, always be cognizant of where are those construction fences, those chain link fences. Don't cross anywhere that you don't see a marked crosswalk on the street. Now, there are some other impacts coming up this week for motorists we want to make sure you're aware of. Complete closures continuing through Thursday night of this week. You saw some images from down there in the I-110 Paisano Drive area, so it's no surprise there's a lot of work going on that will require those overnight closures to continue through Thursday night. Detour, if you're heading south on US 54 trying to get to Juarez, is a little bit circuitous. You'll come 54 to I-10 to Paisano, then work your way back on Alameda, U-turning at Rainer in order to get into the southbound Bridge of the Americas. But again, that's only an overnight closure, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. through Thursday night. Another closure we have that will begin tomorrow night and be in place tomorrow night and Thursday night is a closure of Ramp H. This is that ramp that goes, if you're coming from downtown heading towards the northeast, that ramp will be closed 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday night as well. This is again for more of that work on that kind of new high-flying direct connector over I-10 that will connect southbound US 54 to the Bridge of the Americas. The detour in that case, continue on I-10 out and then come back on westbound I-10 to get onto northbound US 54. Again, what it really boils down to, why on earth are all of these closures necessary? Of course, as we've been saying for many months now, the primary goal of this project is to provide that direct connection between I-10 and Loop 375 there in Mid-City. Project will also eliminate congestion on Paisano near the Chamizal and the El Paso Zoo by removing ramps from Paisano to the Bridge of the Americas. Many of those ramps have been removed. There is still one ramp that has yet to be removed. That ramp coming from downtown, so eastbound Paisano to southbound I-110 to the Bridge of the Americas. Still open now, but when the project is complete, all ramps from Paisano to the Bridge of the Americas will be removed and have to access the bridge via the Spaghetti Bowl interchange. Though still far from completion, that lowest level, again, will continue carrying I-110 under the bridge. And Paisano Bridge to west connection on Paisano will eventually close because we can't just jack it down overnight. Unfortunately, it has to be completely removed and then reconstructed at the lower level. So we know that these changes are impactful, will be in place for many, many months, but then there's another phase coming where work will begin on Paisano going east and west over I-110. With that, we're happy to open it up to questions. Of course, you can email us directly at info@i10connectelpaso.com, and we'll answer your question immediately. You can also reach us at 855-463-1010. and we'll get an answer for you there as well. Jennifer?
Do we have any questions come in yet, Martin? Thank you for that excellent presentation. We really appreciate it. Well done.
My pleasure. At this point, no questions have come in yet during the course of the live via email.
Well, it's an excellent night to have few questions because we're experiencing some technical difficulties with some of our TxDOT staff. Jorge Orejel has been trying to, he's the project manager for TxDOT. He's been trying to access the Facebook Live for several minutes and is unable to. Rudy is standing by, Rudy Elias from Sunt Construction. And Rudy, I don't know if you have anything to add, something you'd like to tell the public to for their edification on this project, or how's it going?
Yeah, the only thing I want to add in, you guys did a very good job expressing safety with pedestrians, but yeah, I think the most dangerous part right now of the closure is the pedestrian access that we've created. Pedestrians need to follow that closely because there's a lot of leading edges that we have protected, and we need to keep the public away from the work zone because it's very dangerous right now. There's bridges that have been removed where you could fall 20 feet to the ground. So I would pay close attention to all the signage, the barricades, the fence that we have put up for pedestrian access, and just follow that closely.
And to add on to something that Rudy was saying, we were down there yesterday, and for years, we've been used to seeing bridges in places, and they just weren't there. So a lot of us haven't been getting out maybe as much as we would otherwise. But believe us when we say that bridge that has always been there, that you think will be there, as Rudy's saying, it is not there, and it came down quickly, and so all the more reason not, because that bridge that you think is there may not be there.
Absolutely. And remember, the video that played had 3 important tips for pedestrians, and it's something that we should follow anywhere we're walking. And that is always do the sidewalk, and then additionally make eye contact with a car that's headed your way. Even if they're stopped, make sure that you see the driver see you. Don't take it for granted. Pedestrian fatalities are up. It's always a problem, and there's just people don't stand a chance against a vehicle. I see now that we have Jorge on the line. No? Okay. Martin, any questions yet?
Not at this time. We'll keep monitoring them, and we'll be happy to provide responses for any questions that come in after the meeting.
Well, we have these meetings every month. It's always the first Tuesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. It seems like for a while we will be streaming them until we're able to get back to in-person meetings. So you can watch this again on Facebook Live, and if you do have questions, Martin is going to tell you about a hotline that you can call directly.
855-463-1010. Yes, 855-463-1010.
Oh, it's the same one.
Yes, and we will respond within 24 hours, and we're happy to provide responses in English and in Spanish.
Right. Again, if you have any questions, 463-1010, and get your questions answered in the meantime. We thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Joe. Thank you to everyone who joined us on Facebook Live this evening. Stay safe, and until next time, travel safely.